Es ist kaum zu glauben, es ist die zweite Tage des Big O. Gestern war so lange mit so viele incredible games.
So for those of you at home listening, we are very excited to bring Bear City Roller Derby all the way from Berlin. And Sexy Beast here actually speaks
Hello.
German.
Ein bisschen, nur ein bisschen.
And so we figured, you know what? In the
Ich in
spirit
Berlin.
of international community,
Ja.
let's speak both languages.
Und when I cannot speak with a German, I will speak with a German accent.
That's kind of cheating.
I
let's
should
be
not
honest.
do that, you say?
I'm probably not.
Vielleicht nicht. Okay, but we are super excited because we have two incredible teams here, and we're about to bring you an incredible game to kick off day 2. And it's, like I was saying before, in German, it's hard to believe it's day 2. Yesterday was just so long and filled with incredible roller derby.
Absolutely, which you could see on our live stream and go back and look at it.
Most of the time.
Yeah, well, okay, well, you know, technical difficulties are the way of life in roller derby, so we thank you for your patience and apologize for the necessity of it.
But we are so pleased as punch to be kicking off day 2 of the Big O 2018 with an incredible game between Berlin City Roller Derby, the Berlin Bombshells, and they're going up against Sacramento Roller Derby Capital MaulStars. And Amy, let's hear those rosters.
All right, so we have for Sacramento 0618 Pink Freud, number 1 Neelan Weep, 10 Annie Reskick, 1006 Naylor Swift, 1013 Red Tornado, 113 Annie Anklebiter, number 12 Devastator, number 124 Crystal, number 1492 Conquistadorable, number 1985 Con Artist, number 44 The Forecloser, number 451 Shock and Auburn, number 58 Blushy Lushy, number 606 Ariella Twister, number 67 Rose Villain, number 94 Talls, and number 970 Narnar Jinx.
All right, and we have the time to derby clock has run down, and the skaters and officials have taken the track, so we'll go ahead and seek an opportunity to give you the Bear City Roller Derby Berlin Bombshells roster here in just a minute.
Yeah, I'd probably at the 30 seconds. Why not?
That rolling whistle signals the end of the time to derby.
The end of times?
The end of times.
That's, you know, those whistles are more dire than I ever remembered. And off we go.
There we are, and it is Mia Missile jamming for Berlin at the front of the pack, but it's Ariella Twister with the star for Sacramento. And suddenly, Ariella is at the front of the pack there, going into turn 2. But Mia Missile out on the outside, lead jammer for Berlin.
And we already have a penalty. Talls from Sacramento comes in, and, oh my goodness, number 113, Annie Anklebiter. So Sacramento starting off, unfortunately, a little bit weak, and we had a forearms penalty on Annie Anklebiter and also forearms on 94 Talls.
The dreaded double forearm.
Yeah, so using all of their arms to illegally penalize the other team.
When they say forearms and there's 2 skaters, is that all 4 arms, or did the 2 skaters just use 1 forearm each?
It means that they hurled half an octopus
Wouldn't that be
at
2
the
arms?
other team.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're about to get back underway here in Jam 2. And Berlin has scored first. It's 3-0 as we go into Jam number 2. Pink Freud on the line for Sacramento. And that's 0-3-0 Jane Van Payne. Jane Van Payne on with the jammer star for Berlin and is out first, lead jammer.
And another pivot coming into the box. That's number 2, Master Blaster for Bear City. So that's, I don't know, guys. I'm a little worried about what this is turning into. I've seen such good work from both of these teams historically, especially Jane Von Payne.
Speaking of Jane Von Payne, let's give you that Berlin City Roller Derby roster. Number 030, Jane Von Payne. Number 109, Amazon. Number 112, Polytrauma. Number 114, Freddie Mercury. Number 166, Sabi Smackdown. Number 180, Miss Sophie. Number 190, Peanut Butter Panic. Number 2, Master Blaster. Number 23, Sixy Blitz. Number 247, Cathra Beater Bones. Number 25, Mia Missile. Number 666, Hannah Satana.
Hannah Satana.
Number 713, Christy Huckvold. And we are underway again in Jam number 3, and 3 in a row, Berlin jammers with lead jammer status. That's number 180, Miss Sophie jamming now for Berlin.
And I hear from our officials that all 3 penalties that have occurred so far have been forearms. So I'm going to take a look out on the track and just see who's calling what, because that's a lot of forearms just to start the day.
It is, and Forecloser holding up her hand, looking for some points, and Sacramento does get some points, 3 points there on the board for Sacramento. A total of 4 now, looks like an 8-4 total as we go into Jam number 4. Oh, I'm settled in finally.
Oh, good. Well, it is first thing in the morning.
Welcome, Beast. Thank you for being here.
We have Ariella Twister taking the line in blue for Sacramento Roller Derby. That's number 606. And number 25, Mia Missile from Bear City. Now, yesterday in the Bear versus Calgary game, we saw so much action from Jane Van Payne and Mia Missile as jammers. And Miss Sophie. That lineup of jamming was so intense. And I'm really looking forward to see what Sacramento puts up against that.
All right, well, there's been some jammer hijinks here. Elliot Twister putting out the Berlin jammer and cycling back right around the jammer line. But with the star for Berlin, number 25, Mia Missile at the front of the pack now, facing off against all three of the very vaunting Sacramento defensive blockers.
And we've got pivot number 67, Rose Villain, coming in and doing offense against Bear City. And that was, again, a forearm penalty being called against number 666, Hannah Satana.
We're 1 minute into this jam. There is no lead, and the pack has not moved past the pivot line. Give you an idea of the level of defensive chops. And finally, Mia Missile able to break free. Lead jammer once again for Berlin Bombshells.
And that was just barely because of an out of play area. Just barely the front of the pack had gotten past that 20 meter or 20 feet, what units of measurement that we use.
Meters or grams? I don't know.
I think it was past 20 grams.
They have the metric system over there.
Yeah.
They wouldn't know what a quarter pounder was. All right, so Sacramento finding themselves in the position they typically inflict upon their opponents. They have not gotten lead yet. They have put some points on the board, but they have been struggling to get control of the game. We go back to the jammer line now with the star for Sacramento. That's number 1006, Naylor Swift.
Up against Jane Von Payne.
Both jammers trying to go up the middle, and the pack is closing on them.
And Swifty takes the inside line and gets a very sudden hit from nowhere from number 190. That is Peanut Butter Panic. Unfortunately, Peanut Butter did step into the inside line as well, so was not able to force either a track cut or a recycling.
And Swifty didn't get lead, and so Jane Von Payne did get lead and was able to call the jam before any damage was done. So
to her team, anyway.
I like, or any spectators.
That's true.
People listening at home.
Never.
All right, back to the jammer line now. It's Pink Floyd with the star for Sacramento, and number 180, that's Ms. Sophie, jamming for Berlin. And Sophie looking for room on the outside. That window has closed.
And we finally get a different penalty. We have a multiplayer block going in for number 190.
But it is the same with the lead jammer thing. Berlin, once again, lead jammer now.
And Peanut Butter Panic is joined by captain number 247, Catherine Beater Bones.
Sophie getting through as Pink Floyd comes up on the pack. And Sophie's going to keep going. So opportunity for Floyd to do some scoring. Nice put out there by number 109, Amazon. Forces Freud to recycle.
And Freud is able to get out with 4 points.
Miss Sophie's going to try another pass here as the team gathers around the far apex. Sophie's through around turn 2. Looks to the coach, and the coach is saying, keep going.
And one thing I'm seeing here and that I've seen a lot more of this weekend than I'm accustomed to is this sort of faster pack. And even if it's not super fast, you see them picking up speed here. And if the jam hadn't been called, they probably would have continued on that adventure. And unfortunately for the teams, what I'm seeing is that makes it easier for the jammers to get by because, well, hard to put up a moving wall.
So true. All right, don't forget, use hashtag BigO2018 in all your tournament posts this weekend as the official hashtag of the tournament this year. We've had some great Twitter chatter going on.
And we do have people live tweeting the Big O from here. And we have, here we go.
We just saw something amazing. That's number 25, Mia Missile, just making room for herself on the outside.
You know, you have to make your own space.
That's it.
Take up your own space.
Launching along the outside track boundary, if you will, to earn lead jammer, and now in the pack on a scoring pass. Able to collect a few points there, maybe, in fact, all 4 points, and calling it off.
as she's chased down by the forecloser. The forecloser has a long and storied Derby legacy and is still continuing to play at an incredibly high level, and has kind of gone back and forth, was at Bay Area Derby for a year.
That's right. Last season with Bay Area Derby.
Because had been a sacred roller derby in Sacramento.
That's right.
Player.
Sacred City Derby Girls.
And then came on down to Bay Area. And then when Sacramento joined together in a single team, forecloser said, "That is for me."
Yes. And we are back to the action now. Ariel Twister jamming for Sacramento. And 030, Jane Von Payne jamming for Berlin. Jane at the front already. Strong defense up there from number 67, Rose Villain, number 1, Neil and Weep. And Jane Von Payne just chiseling away, extending the engagement zone and making it through for lead jammer.
And Ariella Twister is still struggling so hard, spins herself all the way to the ground with Hannah Satana.
Oh.
And that was unfortunately a high block.
Yep.
In the process. So given the power to Bear City.
So power opportunity for Berlin now as they are on a scoring pass. Jane Von Payne at the front of the pack now, just the other side of turn 2. This is the number 10, Annie Rexick there, part of the Sacramento triangle.
And we have Peanut Butter Panic again in the penalty box for a forearm penalty.
Jane Von Payne through on another scoring pass now. And that's 5 points on the board for Berlin.
And both Sacramento's jammer and Bear's blocker re-enter the track at the same time. We now have an empty penalty box.
Ariel are going to try it again now. The pack set up in the far straightaway, just this side of turn 3.
Ariel is having a little bit of trouble with the Bear defense. I'm seeing her push towards the seam a lot. She did get through right now. Fantastic work. But the struggle is real. And I'm seeing her hit that wall and spin her own self down. She falls down on her own physics. And that means that I'm hoping that she tries a slightly different
like
approach.
Calculus or maybe trigonometry.
Yes, those are all forms of physics,
Yeah.
I believe, because I studied liberal arts. If you want to know about theater, I can talk a lot about that.
Edward Albee.
I can talk about Edward Albee. He was a strange dude.
All right.
But
Instead
now,
of that, we'll bring you some more roller derby. That's 180, jamming for Berlin, Miss Sophie.
and 1006 Swifty up in and in front and swiftly taking that lead.
And that is the first lead jammer status for Sacramento in this game. And we are in jam number, straining my neck, jam number 9. Hashtag
Number
Big O
9.
2018. Hashtag scoreboard is behind you.
If you hashtag scoreboard is behind you, I'll find you.
Yeah, I'm there. Swifty at the front of the pack. Nice. Completing a scoring pass. All 5 points there.
Swifty has figured out the Bear defense. And the Bear defense also has now passed that star. So we have a new jammer of record. That is number 190, Peanut Butter Panic. And what I saw from yesterday's game with Peanut Butter Panic is that she is very aggressive, plays every position, and is, it's really clear looking at her why she's the captain.
Yeah.
Her one Achilles heel is that she's so aggressive that I worry about her penalties.
There you go. Well, that was a 8-point pass for Sacramento. They're on the board now with 21 points, and it looks like 31 for Berlin. It appears that way, although we seem to have hung up the neighbor's bedsheet to broadcast the scoreboard on, and it's kind of hard to tell.
Hey, look, that neighbor was super generous.
They are. They're so nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Pink Floyd jamming once again for Sacramento. And Mia Missile with the star for Berlin, very close to the front of the pack. Mia Missile, business as usual, lead jammer for Berlin.
And Pink Floyd attacking the seam, trying to put an arm forward to make that happen. Gets it done with the help of Rose Villain, number 67 in blue,
Nice.
doing some offense.
Uh-oh.
Unfortunately,
Another power jam.
that is a high block, if I recall correctly. If I look at that hand signal properly.
Yes.
It looks like the ref is saying yes,
Yes,
as he
got
pumps
this.
his fist down.
That is correct. That is a
Yeah,
high
that's
block.
a high block.
Meanwhile, Mia Missile rocketing through the pack now. switching on her targeting computer and able to make it through a couple of blockers, but very strong defense. As always, anchored at the front by number 1, Nealon Weep, and number 6'7", Rose Villain.
And we're seeing a lot of individual jammer fight here of the blockers deciding to hold back so that they extend the pack, or just dealing with the other jammer in the moment, so that the jammer up in front just has to push and push.
Pink Floyd back in the pack now and through on her initial pass as Mia gets knocked to the outside and opts to call off.
And indeed does so.
So 10 points on the board for Berlin. Their total is 41 to 21. And that's a 20-point lead for Berlin.
Berlin's been playing tremendous derby this weekend, and it makes me sad that they're so far away because I just want to watch this team all the time.
They are a pretty incredible team. This is actually the first time I think I've ever seen them play, and they are holding their own against Sacramento quite handily. We go back to the action now with number 4-4, the forecloser, jamming for Sacramento. And you see Master Blaster with the pivot helmet cover. Oh, look at the forecloser backing through the engagement zone, picking up lead jammer for Sacramento.
The forecloser using skills from her youth, used to do figure skating.
Nice. Muscling through for a 4-point pass. Master Blaster now with the star for Berlin. Oh, nice move by Master Blaster. Picking up points, getting encouragement from her coach. Keep scoring.
Narnar Jinx, number 970, gets another forearm. I mean, another for the game. This is her first penalty.
There you go.
When you say things like that, it's good to be clear. Like,
Clarity.
Oh, another one.
The clarity was not in the job description for Derby announcer. I'm just not going to say that.
Well, then I think we're doing okay.
Yeah. Not too shabby for a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, as we said, to the Day 2, 2018 Big O here in Eugene, hosted by Emerald City Roller Girls.
One of the best tournaments in the world. I am just going to declare right here, right now.
You know, I don't think anybody could argue with that. Back to the action now. Ariella jamming once again for Sacramento.
That was a great hit by blocker 109.
And Ariella out front now for lead jammer. Oh, and we've had our first ref takedown. PK Biddy going down in turn 1.
Watch out for those refs. We need them for later.
And it's 180 Miss Sophie jamming for Berlin. Ariella watching Miss Sophie approach the pack, calling the jam off. So 4 points on the board for Sacramento. They're up to 30 now, 46 for Berlin. And we're going into jam number 13.
And with that, Sacramento starting at a disadvantage with 2 blockers in the box.
Shout out to Valkyria. Hi, Val.
Hey there.
Did you hear me speak German?
Everybody heard you speak German because it was really beautiful.
Dankeschön.
Bitteschön.
All right, back to the action now. Foreclosure going up against Mia Missile.
And Narnar Jinx re-entering the track while number 12... Oh!
That was a brutal block.
Yikes, that was high blocking.
Yeah. It's that 1985 con artist there with a how do you do block on Mia Missile heading to the penalty box for that.
Mia Missile does just fine, thank you, while you sit in the box. Yikes.
Mia don't mind. As a matter of fact, we missed a power jam here. There's the forecloser sitting in the box.
And Devastator re-enters the track. Had a directional penalty earlier.
And here comes Neal and Weep. So Sacramento cycling players to the box here, not what they want to be doing in this early going. I see another skater leaving the track again. I think that's Narnar. So they're going to have to get off this carousel of penalties if they're going to stay even with Berlin. Mia through on a scoring pass, all 5 points for Berlin now.
Narnar's gotten 2 penalties just in this jam, or was sitting for a penalty to start the jam, got another penalty to finish it. They've already gotten 14 penalties for the game for their team in this first half. And we're not through the first half of the first half.
Yeah. Or even the first half of the first half of the first half.
No, we are through the first half of the first half of the first half. It's past 5 minutes.
Okay. I believe you.
And for those of you checking at home, I know it's not actually 5 minutes, but it's too early to math.
Don't forget the Big O is brought to you in part by the acclaimed Rydell Solaris. I love how they phoneticized that for me.
Well, that's why.
They understand the mental capacities of Derby announcers. The performance you demand, the comfort you've been missing.
I have been missing the comfort of the Rydell Solaris. I've been thinking, what in my life has been missing? Well, it's comfort. I need more comfort in my life. And you know what I need to be comforted by? Is a really sweet skate.
That's right. Well, Rydell has it for you.
Well,
The
I feel better
Rydell
about that.
Solaris.
Hey,
The performance you demand. Do you demand performance?
I demand performance.
I do command performances.
Hey,
but,
now.
Zing. Well, we appear to be in an official timeout. Let me just check the scoreboard. Oh, my neck. No, it's a team timeout for
It is
Sacramento.
a team timeout. Yes,
A
indeed.
very aptly chosen team timeout. Gives us time to talk about these Bear City Roller Derby Berlin Bombshells.
Heck yeah.
They've been
Tell me about them.
They've been in the WFTDA since 2012. I think they're currently ranked 43, although I could be wrong.
They were ranked 43 by when the time of our stats were printed out for this tournament.
Okay.
And so, as you all know, that can change.
Yeah.
And different things like Ringster might give a slightly different piece of information.
There you go.
But as far as we know, ranked 43.
They are 3-3 in 2018 sanctioned play, winning games against Callio, losing.
I love Callio.
And
They're
beating
great.
aren't they awesome?
Yeah,
Callio,
just
all
the
colors.
sweetest team,
Yep.
all colors.
Sarah
I
Gilbert.
love them so much.
Hashtag Sarah Gilbert.
Oh, yeah. And in comes Pink Floyd, taking that inside line once Talls opened it up. Oh, no, Sacramento.
Still happening. Penalties still happening. Haunting the team in blue right now. But a power jam opportunity for Sacramento. as
Devastators in the box. We've got the Bear Jammer, Jane Von Payne in the box. We got the Pivot in the box.
I'm also seeing 2 Berlin blockers now and the Jammer in the box.
So
And
power jam for Sacramento. They really need this opportunity, and double opportunity with an additional blocker in the box. Then hey, that gives their team, and they've goated. They've completely made a goat out of one of the blockers for Bear. Great opportunity there, and goat gets out. That's number 23, 60 blitz, and 60 comes back then to assist her Jammer. So what the heck, why not?
And Pink Floyd coming around now here in the near apex on another scoring pass, and that is 19 points already so far on the jam for Sacramento. They are pulling themselves back into this game. Empty penalty box for now as Pink Floyd comes in on another scoring pass. Pink Floyd is lead jammer, so can control this jam. And that's what Pink Floyd's going to do. Excellent jam, exactly what Sacramento needed. We're going to see, yes, a 23-0 jam. There you go, Mamie.
Yes,
Sacramento
beast.
right back in this. 53-60 now your score. Only 7 points separating these two teams. A timeout has been taken by Berlin just before we go into jam number 15. And I can't see how much time is left on the clock because it's all wavy. Plus, it's behind me.
Look, you know what, Beast? Put that scoreboard behind you. You don't need to worry about it anymore.
It's a scandal.
Everything will be fine.
Anyway, more about Berlin.
Yeah.
We talked about we gave you their roster. Their bench coach is Daniel. Lineup manager is Anna. And their bench staff, Katapulta. That's a great name.
That's a great name.
It is. We were talking about their 2018 schedule with wins against Callio and Old Riki, and losses to Paris and Toulouse. They also beat Stockholm and lost to 2x4. So the team from Argentina, right?
Yeah,
Where 2x4's from?
Dos por Cuatro.
Dos por cuatro.
And another great team who I love with all my heart. Dos por Cuatro. They work so hard.
They have such spirit.
They do, and they have so few facilities and so few places to derby, and yet they're playing on the international stage.
It's awesome.
So they're amazing.
Putting the international in international WFTDA. Teams like Berlin, like Stockholm,
Yeah.
like, Crime City.
Oh yeah.
Don't make me do the Crime City chant because I'll do it. All right, this timeout is coming to a close. Teams are back on the track, and that whistle starts the jam.
And easy peasy lemon squeezy. Up comes Sacramento's Ariella Twister.
And that's the kind of offense I think the Sacramento bench and their fans were waiting to see.
Yes,
And
indeed.
Ariel is capable of doing that virtually every jam.
And
So
Shock and Auburn got, unsurprisingly, a forearm penalty.
Master Blaster, the pivot, putting the star on again, a jammer of record, but why? No points for Master Blaster. Ariel is going to call it off after 4 points, I believe. In fact, yes, it is 4. 58-60 now your score, Mamie.
I love it. I love a close game.
The coffee has kicked in for the Sacramento Roller Derby Capital MaulStars, as it has for me, thankfully.
Zing, zing, boom. And starting this jam, we also have Rose Villain in the box for a directional penalty. So Shock and Villain will cool their heels for a fine 30 seconds, leaving it open for Bear. And indeed, Bear is like, yeah, 2 blockers, no waiting.
Not a problem. Mia Missile taking off, if you will.
But you know what? Great job fielding for Closer, who comes in hot and heavy.
Yep. Trying to force a call off, but with only 2 blockers on the track, Mia able to pick up all 4 points on that jam.
Mm-hmm.
And that puts them 4 points ahead.
That's how
4
math
more
works.
points.
You know, you at home thought we couldn't do math, and listen to us now doing
You were
math
right.
saying, what number equals 4? It's 4.
No. You're wondering, can I possibly have as much fun as Beast and Mamie are having right now? And the answer is yes. You certainly can.
I was wondering that, and I am.
And you're here.
I'm half of Beast and Mamie.
All right, back to the track. Jane Von Payne, wasting no time. Absolutely incredible through the pack. Lead jammer for Berlin. Swifty with the star for Sacramento, picking up a cutting the track penalty. Not the power jam that Sacramento needs right now.
No. And it looked like Swifty was coming out and was going to be able to call off force the call off. And alas, that even a little tiny foot slip.
Yep.
It'll get you.
It'll get you.
A little dab will do you.
And with that jammer off the track, Jane Von Payne free to score at will. 5 points already on the jam. Team setting up in the far straightaway.
And a back block to Hannah Satana.
Hannah Satana with 4 penalties now.
That's a bit much. I mean, she is Satana,
Yeah.
but...
So the red light is flashing on the dashboard of the Hannah Satana wagon. With 4 penalties there. And Jane Von Payne able to break through, pick up another 5 points. Con Artist in the box now for Sacramento as Swifty breaks through on her initial pass.
Con Artist also got a forearm.
Really?
Forearm for you. Forearm
Man.
for you. I think that these refs are just being very... they're just being very alert to that particular penalty because maybe people have been letting that slide more, in their opinion.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They do make adjustments. I know as a former
Absolutely.
official, day 2 of a tournament, often they'll get together and talk about things that they have seen, trends that they've seen in penalties or calls or no calls.
Yeah.
So perhaps they're tightening it up. We're going to give you that list of officials here in just a second after this jam. On the jammer line, once again, for Berlin, that's Miss Sophie. Don't hassle the Sof.
I saw she had a sweatshirt that said that this
Isn't
morning.
that awesome?
Don't hassle this off.
Don't nicht hassle the Sof.
And I would never hassle this off. Look
No
at
way.
that skating.
Yeah, so much respect for the Sof.
And with this incredibly fast pack, Freud calls off that jam because, I mean, what else can you do?
Yep, Freud was lead, got lead first and able to control the jam. So let's give you that list here. I'm going to read the non-skating officials, and as everybody knows, the non-skating officials, the most important officials,
Heck yeah.
without whom roller derby would just be like a shriveled old shoe,
Well, without non-skating officials, you wouldn't have scores.
That's right.
You wouldn't know how many penalties people had.
It would be a shame.
You wouldn't know any of the things that you need to know in order for the game to complete itself.
There you go. We talk so much about them. We have to wait until the next jam to read their names. But oh my goodness,
But we
Mia
will.
Missile. Yeah, we can say Mia Missile's name because she's out front first again. Lead jammer for Berlin. Forecloser taking off the star.
Being
into the pack.
recycled back by Master Blaster, pivot for Bear City.
Master Blaster, of course, a board member of the WFTDA.
Ooh.
I think
And a
Master
star
Blaster's the
pass to
president.
Villain. Number 67, Rose Villain, taking the star for Sacramento, engaging that back of the pack, has passed a couple skaters. Ooh, leaps forward like super person. That is number 2. Who is number 2 in Sacramento?
That's,
Or 12, it must be Devastator. I saw it too.
you saw it.
Yeah.
It was real.
Some of these people are so far away, you guys. I'm sorry if I missay someone.
Hashtag Big O 2018.
And that is Peanut Butter Panic picking up the 4th or 5th penalty of the game.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So 2 Berlin skaters with 4 right now. That's
so that was a
problematic.
multiplayer for 4.
Yep. And speaking of multiplayer, there is an absolute thicket of blockers just ahead of turn 3 here. 2 3-packs grinding jammers to the ground.
Yes, and once again, these jammers have no option but to just try to push through because these walls are being so dynamic.
I think Mia Missile heard you. She's like, you know what, Mamie, you're right. Let me call this. Let me call this one off.
I've had enough of this nonsense.
All right, so back to that list of non-skating officials. Wiley, Rockin' Buddha, 9-Inch Wheels, Time Lord, Social Lies, Read the Rules, Heads Will Roll, C-Rex, and of course, the incredible Strong Female Character.
Strong Female Character is the head NSO for this game.
All right, and we'll give you the skating officials' names because they're kind of important too.
I like them.
After this jam with Ariel Twister jamming for Sacramento, another ref takedown on the inside.
That was a self-takedown beast.
Self-takedowns still count. But unfortunately, Ariel Twister with a jammer penalty, and that is a power jam opportunity.
That is an illegal contact penalty.
And Jane Von Payne jamming for Berlin now, getting recycled to the pivot line.
And so we have 2 Bear City players going in. That is number 23, 60 Blitz, and number 247, Catherine Beater Bones, coming in, both for forearms.
All right, so pack grinding to a glacial halt just on the other side of turn 2. Uh-oh.
And a high block, taking in a 3rd blocker. And now that the other 2 are standing, there is room on the bench. That is number 666, Hannah Satana, with 5.
Yeah, it's
5 penalties.
A little bit early for that, but Berlin will see if they can tighten it up if they can.
And Narnar comes back into the box with it cutting the track. And now her penalties, for forearms.
A forearm, really?
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought?
I know, it's such an unusual penalty in this game. You know, and I only mention that because generally what I see is sort of a wide assortment of penalties, even among players.
Right.
A lot of times players will either have like the same 1 or 2, or they will have a broad spectrum. I had one player, like, every single penalty was a different one. I'm like, good for you. Try new things.
Try a little like penalty bingo there.
And what an amazing jammer. I mean, just dancing to the outside, and just seeing all the opportunities. And both jammers saw that the blockers weren't quite filling up the entire space.
Yep.
Well, you've got to. It's like spackle. You've got to fill all the space.
That's correct.
If you don't spackle your wall properly, then the mice get in.
You'll have holes.
You'll have holes.
And through those holes, little jammers or mice can penetrate.
And your wall is not a cheese.
That's correct.
I don't know what people have been telling you.
My ears are not garbage cans. All right, here we go. Back to the action now. Jamming once again for Sacramento. That's number 44, the Forecloser, going up against number 25, Mia Missile for Berlin.
And Forecloser looking for that inside line.
You know you're in trouble when your penalty line changes color on the ringster.
Oh,
666, Hannah Satana with 5 penalties now. And she gets a green line.
Well, that means you're in possible trouble, but not real trouble yet.
Yeah.
But then again, since it's still the first half, kind of medium trouble.
Yeah, we can call it trouble.
Yeah.
It's trouble.
Right here in Big O City with a capital T, and that rhymes with D, and that stands for Derby. Now, I know all you folks are the right kind of listeners. I'm going to be perfectly frank.
No singing on the mic, they told me back in announcer school. So Master Blaster now with the star for Berlin. But Sacramento very adeptly going to call it off. I don't know if any points went down in that jam. I think it was, in fact, a 0-0 jam. Your score right now, 88-62 with 1 minutes remaining. But we are going into jam number 23. So we have to be. Oh, I just heard the house announcer say we have time for one last jam.
Oh, hey.
There you go. So.
And you know what? I would trust the house announcers. They seem like reliable people.
Let's wave to them.
Hi, house announcers. You can't see us because you're concentrating on your own jobs.
And with that one last jam, Sacramento will send Ariella Twister to the track, going up against number 030, Jane Von Payne. Jane Von Payne.
As soon as you said her name, she got lead jammer, because of course she did. She's Jane Von Payne.
Yeah, bringing the Von Payne. And Ariella putting on the afterburners, trying to force a call off here as Jane Von Payne goes into the back of the pack.
And Amazon
made a
goes
couple
into the box.
passes up.
Oh!
Ariella taken to the skies there and able to, yeah, she brought down all of those points. 4 points for Ariella with Jane Von Payne stuck in the back of the pack now. Ooh, angled to the outside. Excellent block there by number 10, Annie Rexick. And Ariella, in fact, forcing that call off and putting a little bit of spirit, a little bit of juice back into the Sacramento fans in the venue. Shout out to H&IC, coaching for Sacramento.
And despite lining up, it is now intermission time. So I invite all of you at home to take a moment for yourselves. Think about yourselves and your lives and what you want to be doing, because honestly, what you want to be doing is coming back in 10 minutes and watching more Derby.
That's right. Don't forget to join us again for the second half of this game. We'll bring you some interesting information and statistics from the first half and all kinds of other useful ephemera.
And until then, I am Mamie Theisenhower.
And ich bin Sexy Beast.
We'll see you soon. The Sacramento Roller Derby Capital MaulStars. I am and remain Mamie Theisenhower.
Still Sexy Beast over here.
And Sexy Beast, you are getting all kinds of information about these teams and their stats and where they are in the WFTDA. So tell us a little bit about their standings.
Oh, yes, that's correct. I did actually just run to the restroom, but I do have that information.
And while there, found out all about where these teams are in the Derby world.
Yeah, this person in the stall next to me just fed me all these facts. No, so Sacramento Roller Derby, as we know, as most listeners probably know, it's a combination of two leagues, two former WFTDA leagues, Sacred City Derby Girls and Sac City Rollers. Both of them lions of Sacramento Roller Derby now for over a decade. Both teams forming between 2006 and 2007 and just getting together last year. They recently, so they're ranked 38th now, having moved up, get this, Mamie, 23 spots.
Wait, what?
In the most recent ranking cycle, no doubt as a
Wow.
result of their 3-0 sweep at Clover Cup earlier this year.
Aha.
They are, in fact, their 2018 record is 5-1. So the combined efforts of those two clubs coming together and really taking on roller derby, if you will.
So that makes sense that the teams ranked 33 and 38 would have such a close game.
That's right. And Berlin, no slouches of their own. They moved up 6 spots in the most recent ranking bump. So
both of them clawing their ways forward,
So
wanting to be in the top 10 ever so soon.
So, and certainly we're seeing that here on the track today, right now. Teams that appear to be relatively evenly matched offensively and defensively, but also two teams kind of trying to get out of their own way in terms of penalties, keep their skaters on the track, keep their defenders on the track, keep their jammers on the track. And so as we go into the second half, your score is 90-68.
And what we're seeing from the MaulStars is most of their players have gotten a penalty of some sort. We have 1, 2, 3 players who have not received a penalty. One jammer who just received the lead jam, though.
And that is Ariella Twister jamming once again for Sacramento. Seeing a multiplayer block penalty to go up, and this is turning into a power jam for Sacramento. One scoring pass already on the board. Mia Missile taking a seat in the penalty box now as Ariella comes back into the pack on a second scoring pass.
And indeed, that was a multiplayer block called against the jammer. Unusual circumstance, but certainly possible if you join in with your blocker to, do some sort of offense-defense against someone.
There you
Boom.
go.
Multiplayer.
Boom. Just like that. Boom.
Oh, speaking of boom. Oh.
Just like that. And Ariella taking to the skies, but getting hung up on an opposing skater. And in fact, it is the opposing skater who is getting a penalty now.
And
Illegal.
did a sternum check into a sternum
Illegal
for that
contact,
one.
I think, is
so
the
good.
call. Third
Yeah.
scoring pass now for Ariella as Mia Missile returns to the track. Mia Missile taking off, launched from a mobile site. And Ariella Twister twisting through the pack, coming out clean. Already 19 points on the board.
And
in
sure
fact, Sacramento has closed that lead to 3 points now, 87-90 your score.
And
Sorry.
we may see a lead change right now because we see not only Ariella no longer has the power jam, but those Sacramento blockers are doing such a great job of holding back the opposing jammer. And there's only 2.
Oh, my goodness.
Here we go.
That was like getting stuck in a cavern. Number 109, Amazon and number 2, Master Blaster. Great defense against Ariella, but they have to let her go. That is a fifth scoring pass. 24 points already on the board for Sacramento here. 15 seconds left in the jam, but Ariella going to call it. Man, what an amazing momentum swing for Sacramento. They are in the lead now with that 27-0 jam, Amy.
And that very well may be the highest scoring jam of the game. If not, it is way up there.
It's up there now. So Sacramento now with 95, 90 for Berlin. All smiles back on the Sacramento bench as we go into jam number 2.
And Pink Floyd does a little jammer dance saying, yes, indeed, we did a lead change. Watch that, America and the world.
All right, so jam number 2 here in the second half. It is 0-3-0. Jane Von Payne jamming for Berlin. As you mentioned, Pink Floyd with the star for Sacramento.
I enjoy Pink Floyd's old school Death Skull makeup that she's got on.
Very nice.
I do love a derby face. And this is 1492 Conquistadorable coming into the penalty box.
Uh-oh, double penalty for Sacramento now. Looks like the pivot, Rose Villain, taking a seat in the penalty box.
Oh, no. So Conquistadorable for a forearm. Rose Villain number 67 for a multiplayer.
We mentioned Hannah Satana with 5 penalties, 2 other skaters with Berlin with 4 penalties. Sacramento, though they do appear to have been cycling to the box, nobody with more than 3 at this point.
And number 23, in fact, gets her third. That's 60 blitz coming into the penalty box right now.
Yeah,
and hey, why not? Pink Floyd also taking a seat because we need a lot of people in the penalty box. That's just, why not?
Yeah, that's what it's there for. Jane Von Payne with a 5-point scoring pass back into the pack now, scoring more. Score is tied now, 95-95. Do something special with that. All right, we're seeing another multiplayer block go up, and it's against Neal and Wheat for Sacramento.
And Conquistadorable returns to us. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Neal and Weep, as you had said.
Yeah, number 12, that's Devastator, and Conquistadorable anchoring the front of the Santa Cruz. Thank you, Sacramento defense.
That's a different part of California.
That's a compliment, actually.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Sacramento, Santa Cruz is a hell of a team.
Plus, you got a team on the track named the Bombshells, so you can kind of forgive me for going there.
That's true, in fact.
Uh-oh, look out. 666 headed back to the penalty box.
Ooh.
666 in the box. That's 6 trips. And I see 5 trips on there now for number 190.
Peanut Butter Panic.
Peanut Butter Panic. Peanut Butter not quite in the panic mode, but 5
perhaps she
penalties.
should be.
Nothing to sneeze at, exactly.
Yeah.
We've gone from DEFCON 3 to DEFCON 2 here on number 666. 6 penalties, 6 trips.
Well, and again, we've only got 2 skaters from Sacramento who haven't received a penalty, but their maximum number is 3.
Yeah.
So among all their skaters, they've done a lot.
They've spread it out a little bit.
Yeah, but
nobody
there's
in real trouble. But
exactly. But in the Bombshells, what we see is that 2 of their skaters are already in danger of fouling out, and 1 more skater has 4. So I'm a little worried for them in that fashion.
But no worries for Miss Sophie back on the track as jammer for Berlin. Lead jammer now in the pack. And seeing Swifty come up, the Zoff is going to call it off. That rhymes.
You're a poet and you didn't know it.
The Zoff is going to call it off.
Dun, dun, dun.
I did know it, actually. I'm a card-carrying poet.
You carry cards?
I'm a member of the Northern California Poets Local 107. My brain. My poor brain. All right, back to the track now. Jamming for Sacramento once again. The legendary forecloser going up against number 25, Mia Missile for Berlin.
Forecloser takes the front of the pack. And since it is only a half wall for Berlin, she burst through, but unfortunately too hard. She gets a high block penalty.
Shorty making the yes hand signal there.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that means a no for the forecloser.
And that gives great power opportunity to Bear City. And look at that. Team was very well aware as the Sacramento wall was being devastated. Yep. The inside line was just open like a runway.
Number 6-7, Rose Villain back in the box. 4 trips total for her. But more importantly, her presence is missed on the track as Mia Missile completes another scoring pass. Oh, nice feint move there. At the food, number 12, Devastator. And I think we are going to see something that we don't want to see ever.
Oh,
But,
Hannah Satana did get that 7th penalty. This
back in
will
the
be a
box.
foul out.
Yep. So the first foul out of the game is for Hannah Satana from Berlin. And they'll see if they need to take an official timeout here to do the swap.
They don't need a timeout, it looks like. They're just doing it.
They're just going to do it.
You know what? Strong female character has this on lock.
Oh, my goodness, yep.
Oh, but a timeout has been called from the Bear City team.
There you go.
So we will be taking our time for a moment with Bear City.
So Bear City with 10 points on that jam puts them at 114 now. They've
Another lead
eclipsed
change.
the century mark.
Yeah.
They've dropped the ton, if you will.
And
Use
I will.
Old cafe racing term. And 0 points on the jam for Sacramento. 114 to 94 is your score with minutes remaining here in the second half.
And I'd like to remind you with those minutes left that tickets for the 2018 International WFTDA playoffs go on sale June 2018. Get all ticket information at WFTDA.com/tickets.
That's right. We know a little bit about our tournament season for the WFTDA. We're going to have playoffs in Ocaruña, Spain.
Oh, I'm looking
hosted
forward to
by
that one.
Aspregantes Roller Derby.
And we will have a game in New Orleans, if I recall correctly.
Well, the other divisional tournament is going to be in Atlanta, hosted by Atlanta Roller Girls, and then Champs.
That's right. Champs are
That's
in
right.
New Orleans. Oh, everybody go.
Everybody go. The Big
That's
Easy,
going to be the best.
hosted by Big Easy Roller Girls and the WFTDA. So divisional tournament tickets go on sale in June, and Champs tickets go on sale in August. All of that, of course, at WFTDA.com/tickets.
Or if you, for all of your WFTDA needs and information, just go to the .com. You'll find the rest of it.
Use the internet, folks. You know how. Speaking of knowing how, Ariel Twister jamming once again for Sacramento out front early, lead jammer. And we've had a helmet cover pass to Master Blaster, now the jammer of record for Berlin. Ariella getting taken out by number 247, Catherine Beater Bones, and forcing a call off. Excellent defensive structure there from Berlin. 0 points on the board for Sacramento despite an early lead jammer. Pause. Wait for it.
And, you know, I'd like to give a big shout out to our tech team today. We are not actually using Ringster as software today. We're using a new inside whiteboard, which is, as you see, not physical upon the track, but is being used computer-wise so that we announcers and fellow officials can see what's going on at all the time.
There you go. How exciting.
Yeah.
Also exciting for Berlin. Lead jammer status once again. And I believe that is number 180, Miss Sophie.
It is indeed. Miss Sophie twirling around, calls it off on the outside. I love watching Miss Sophie right after the jam.
Yeah.
Because she always is acknowledging what has happened in the game and is always super cheerful about it.
I know. She sort of has this little head thing that she does. Which
Yeah.
is super nice. But you saw there we had sort of back-to-back jams where the one jammer got out first, got lead early, but the other jammer was able to speedily make it through the pack and force a call-off. So 2-0-0 jams. Actually, that last jam...
It was 3-0.
It was 0-0. What am I talking about?
I don't know.
3-0 for Berlin on that one, and 2-0 for Sacramento on the one before. But you don't want to hear about those jams. You want to hear about this one. Jamming.
And this jam is amazing.
Yes, it is. And jamming again for Berlin, and lead jammer once again. Mia Missile rocketing through the pack.
Devastator taking a bit of a fall as she chased down and also as she knocked out number 247. That is, of course, Catherine Beater Bones.
Helmet cover having been passed to number 94, Talls. For Sacramento, Talls speeding into the pack, but not able to get any points there.
And that hit by Devastator landed her a spot in the penalty box. Because you know what? You can hit all you want, but it's got to be legal.
So it looks like your score now is 121 for Berlin, 97 for Sacramento. We're going into what I'm going to guess is jam number 8 here in the second half.
And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that when Bear City figures out how to control their penalties,
Yeah,
I really think that that's the only thing holding them back.
yeah.
Because look at this power and speed and teamwork that they all have together,
There you go.
but they keep getting penalties.
And opportunity creating itself for Sacramento. Pink Floyd is your lead jammer now with Master Blaster taking the star for the first time off the line today. And And Master Blaster coming into the pack. Pink Floyd going to see if she can get any points before calling it off. 2 points for Berlin. Nice work by Master Blaster. Master Blaster, of course, holding up 3 fingers, saying 3 points.
But I want more points. And you know what? Every jammer wants more points.
They do. They do. So that's a 2-2 jam. It looks like 123 to 99 your score. 24 points separating these two teams with Berlin in the lead.
So we have, of course, Jane Von Payne skating against 1006 Naylor Swift. And Jane Von Payne just easily coming up to the front. And it almost looks like she was squirted out between those two jammers and just pushed forward by them. As
ausgespritzt. Aus dem
yes.
Pack.
And Con Artist returns to the penalty box. That's blue number 1985 for another forearms.
It's going to take a second here. Let me cue up some hashtag Big O 2018.
Oh, fantastic.
Twitter
Because
stuff
here's the thing, you guys. We actually do read your Twitter. We actually, if you hashtag us and say you want us to read it, we look at it. We see what's going on. And what's going on right now is an official timeout. The officials need a moment to assess what's going on and see if anything needs to change. So I want to take this moment to mention Hit This. Hit This Derby gear has everything you need to get rolling, from skates to protective gear and unmatched service for all your derby needs. Before you hit the track, hit this. Yes, Beast, what have you found on the Tweeties?
In reference to what we were talking about earlier with the officiating crew. Oh, now it's gone. That was funny, but now it's gone. Yeah, well.
What happened?
Oh, hold on. There we go. Oh, yeah. A tweet from Moonchild. So this is crew forearm. Got it.
Oh.
Hashtag Big O 2018.
Yeah.
We're not ready to call that exactly, but
no, because you know what? Honestly, sometimes when you get a rash of calls, you can blame the official and say, "Ooh, that ref is being all weird and crazy about that particular call."
Referees conferred, and on conference, the Sacramento Jam will be issued a cut, and the
Berlin team retains their review. Thank you, Michael.
And there will be a score adjustment as well.
Oh, there'll be score adjustment. Excellent.
A score adjustment.
Well, and you hear the voice of Mike Hammer, the head ref for this game, who also goes by the name Dan Under, one of my favorite Australia puns. When he is announcing, he is Dan Under. So if you hear that name, that is the kilted official you see before you.
And I have just a tweet for you from Spite Sprite saying, "I have to say it. I love officials in kilts." Hashtag Big O 2018.
With a heart-eyed smiley face.
Yeah.
So
And
you know she means it.
I have to say it. Men in kilts. Okay. All right. Roller Derby 2018.
Men in kilts, heck yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I say more garments for everyone.
Yes.
So Swifty's in the box. So Power Jam over there to 180 Mizofi.
Yep, and Rose Villain back to the penalty box now.
Ooh. We've seen Rose Villain a lot, and unfortunately, as a pivot, that's a key player that you don't want in the penalty box. And she's been going there a fair amount.
Yeah, I'm seeing 4 trips, but I thought she had 4 trips earlier in this half, so it could be a 5th trip.
I was going to say our whiteboard may just not be updated at the moment. So, hey, we mentioned the officials. I don't think we've mentioned all of our skating officials. So we have, as aforementioned, head ref Mike Hammer, also Danger Muffin, Shorty, Dread Pochuli, Martin McFly, Rockstar, and PK Biddy. I appreciate the name Martin McFly.
That's a good
it's
one.
like the formal.
It distinguishes Marty McFly.
Yeah, the formal of Back to the Future.
All right, we are back underway once again. Ariella Twister jamming again for Sacramento, and inside lead jammer Sacramento.
And just use the force of the hit she was receiving to move forward instead of sideways. And that's what I want to see in all of my players is how do you take an impact and make it work for you instead of against you as the opposition intends.
Like an energy transferal.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I believe that is Mia Missile, having been jettisoned out of the pack. About a half a track behind now. Ariella completing a scoring pass. Going to call that one off. 4 points go up for Sacramento. Your score now is 139 to 107.
So Sacramento chipping away at that lead.
Everyone, don't forget, it is day 2. It is the Big O, and that means you can expect incredible games coming up here on track 1. We've got just an absolute incredible card. We've got at 2 o'clock arch rival going up against Montreal. That promises to be nice. Rose, Denver. That's a matchup for the ages. And then, of course, at 8 o'clock on this track, Victoria, your number 1 ranked 2017 International WFTDA Championship Victorian Roller Derby, going up against Angel City Derby.
Oh, that's going to be a great one.
Don't miss that game. That's going to be fun. All right, back to the action here. Master Blaster jamming again for Berlin. The forecloser with the star for Sacramento. And Master Blaster very close to the front, and Master Blaster is your lead jammer for Berlin.
And I'm really impressed with these Berlin walls being able to form at speed.
Yeah. Well, they know a thing or two about walls in Berlin.
Hey, now.
Whoa.
Oh.
That one just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, that came out of the Cold War. That's
what they said.
Mr. Beast,
Yeah.
stop mentioning this wall.
Anyway. Here we go. Pink Floyd back on the line. And being opposed by number 030, Jane Van Payne, as the pack sets up on the pivot line as though it were 2008.
But you know what?
Will they do a kneel down start, do you think?
Oh, I would love that.
Just once.
Just once. Just give me a kneel down
Just
start.
destroy the pack.
But what I'm finding is I really love it when they line up at the pivot line, because then we get to see this. We get to see a runway for the jammers to come up on and just biff against that entire pack. And now we have all the pack together.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a confusing scrum to try to get through.
Oh, but Pink
Not
Floyd has
too
gotten
confusing.
through. Yeah, Pink Floyd got through first, and Jane Von Payne just, this way and that. Helmet cover in hand now. Pink Floyd coming back up on the pack just this side of turn 2. Pink Floyd on a scoring pass. And we see Devastator hitting the penalty box there.
Mm-hmm. And this will be the 6th penalty for Devastator. So the only skater who is in danger of fouling out is number 12 in blue.
Jane Von Payne now coming up on the pack on a scoring pass, but Pink Floyd going to call that one off, having secured 4 points for Sacramento. Your score now 111 to 143. 32 points separating these two teams. And it looks like we have an official review. That gives us time to talk about
all the things.
All of the stuff. Experience world-class edging with the Radar Halo, available in a full range of hardnesses from Mamie, all the way from 84A up to 103A.
Oh, that's really hard.
Yeah, is that true? Is the 103 side the harder, or is the 84 the harder? I don't know.
84 is soft.
Oh, 84 is soft.
84 is closer to your gravel skate. 103 is closer to your, hard floor skate.
Okay.
And it just depends on how you skate, what you do, and what your body does with different wheels.
It just goes to show you there is a halo for everyone.
Oh.
Yeah. Even if, maybe you're not the nicest person, you still get a halo.
Well, I can see your halo.
You can see mine.
Oh.
Stars and stripes or camouflage? I can't tell. Anyway.
My halo came jettisoning off my head so fast it just thunked into a tree.
Can my Castle Megastore crown, rainbow crown, substitute for a halo?
I think it can, and I think that would be the most appropriate halo for you.
Substitute. Shout out to Castle Megastore in venue. And
part of our vendor village, always a supporter of the Big O, and honestly, a pun-wise, very appropriate sponsor for the Big O.
There's not a person in this whole tournament, I think in Eugene, Oregon, maybe even in the state of Oregon, who does not appreciate Castle Megastore.
Castle Megastore, we appreciate you.
All right, so we are in, what is this? This is an official timeout or a team timeout?
No, this is an official timeout.
Yeah, okay, so, but giving the teams an opportunity to converse. Shout out to Rhodes Warrior on the tape crew on the inside line there. Rhodes Warrior, of course, a skater with Sacramento Roller Derby.
And also a member of their board of directors and a key mover to the smooth transition from 2 teams to 1 team. And honestly, for Sacramento, giant shout out to that entire team for making that smooth transition. That was an enormous amount of work.
If you want a great background on that, Rhodes actually did an incredible blog post that's in 5-on-5 magazine. So
that's right.
Yeah. All right, well, we have a power jam opportunity for Sacramento now as the Berlin Jammer has made their way to the penalty box. And to see who that is. Who is that jamming for Sacramento? That's Taylor, Naylor Swifty. with the star coming back into the pack now. Ooh, nice leap across the apex.
And let's see if that's a calling off the jam, because why not? That would take so much effort to get back. Why not use that time to ice the jammer in the box and start with a power jam? I agree, Swifty.
Absolutely.
I agree with what you just did.
Oh, and apparently Swifty was able to stick the landing there. So all 5 points go up for Sacramento. 116 to 143 your score now. Berlin in front.
And you know what, though? Still agree, because if you're not sure, don't risk that cutting the track penalty.
No.
And frankly, don't risk that extra time suck of recycling yourself.
Exactly.
So good job, Swifty, is what I'm saying.
So, and we've got a team timeout now for Sacramento. Oh, so team timeout for Sacramento gives us a chance to talk about more Derby.
Yes, indeed.
And that's what the Big O is known for. The Big O, Earth's most incredible roller derby tournament.
Well, I mean, it's up there.
Fight me, Mamie.
Okay, B. So, oh, God, this is not going to go well.
But anyway, it'd be like a fight, except, we'd have skates and pads on. They call that roller derby. And we've got some incredible roller derby coming up for you here on track 2. I guess that game is actually underway now, Terminal versus Tucson. But let's see. Also, we've got Wheels of Mayhem from Mexico going up against Lane County Concussion, a great men's game. And that's happening at 2:30. Jet City going up against Calgary at 4:30. And then more incredible juniors action. And I think that term juniors is like a total misrepresentation, because it is derby. It's not junior derby. It's derby.
Well, because when you think, quote, juniors, you think it's going to be like kids. 5 to 10-year-olds.
Yeah, no.
And instead what we have is all the teenagers coming up and about to transfer into regular leagues because they're 18, 17 years old.
More often than not, they transfer right from their junior team right to the all-star team of whatever league they're with.
Because they've been skating their whole lives.
That's right. And speaking of skating, that is Ariella Twister jamming for Sacramento. Lead jammer once again.
And going into the box, it's in white number 2, Master Blaster. Pivot for the Bear City Bombshells.
Ariella Twister on a scoring pass, trying to get past the front of the Berlin pack, and able to do so for a 4-point pass. Missed Sophie with the SAR for Berlin, getting hung up right there in turn 2. Ariella coming around for a second scoring pass. Oh, nice move.
Oh. Tuck and roll.
That was...
I love... Okay, that is how to take a fall.
That Conquistadorable just busting up the wall, allowing Ariel to shoot through there on another scoring pass.
And
Con Artist, I'm sorry.
Con Artist, yeah.
Props to Con Artist. That was just an incredible defensive play.
And you know what? Con Artist may be saying, hey, it's worth it. That might be her 6th. It's either her 5th or 6th penalty.
Either way, the line has changed color. That's not good.
No.
Ariella Twister looking a little bit exhausted from that jam. An enormous output of energy. 13 points on the board. More importantly, a 13-0 jam for Sacramento. Now just 14 points behind, 129 to 143 as we go into jam number 16.
And an official review is being asked for by Bear City.
Uh-huh.
And quite possibly for one of the hits that was going down, but we will find out.
This official review, brought to you by Hit This Derby Gear. Hit This Derby Gear has everything you need to get rolling, from skates to protective gear and unmatched service for all your derby needs. Before you hit the track, hit this.
Oh, yeah.
Exclamation point. So, and then let's not forget to talk about track 3. Oh, track 3.
Track 3. Okay, so I love the Big O for many, many reasons.
Yep.
One of which, it's one of the few places where a tournament can actually host 3 concurrent tracks.
That's right.
And so we have so much derby here all weekend, and it's 3 days. It's a 3-day weekend of massive amounts of 3-track derby from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
That's right.
To 10:30 p.m. actually. So 10 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Pacific time. We have all this derby, and then...
Is that Pacific Daylight Time? Or?
Currently, yes, because daylight savings time is no joke. I'm lying. It's totally a joke. Anyway, but we also have a real balance of players. We have, this year, I believe, 8 juniors teams, 10 men's teams, and 12 women's teams from all over the world, giving you really high-level roller derby. And as you were saying before, these juniors...
Oh, yeah.
If you saw the Bombshells game last night,
incredible.
the
Just
Bombshells
against Seattle Derby Brats.
Yeah, and Seattle is highly ranked.
Oh, they're
Seattle is amazing.
They're both ridiculous teams with incredible storied histories, great coaching, great athletes. Are you talking about your JRDA #1 ranked Santa Cruz Bombshells?
I believe I am.
Just a couple years ago, they were a team coming up, scrapping and doing everything they could. California Mayhem at that point was on top, but yeah, we saw great games yesterday. I called a Mayhem Emerald City Juniors game that went down to the last jam.
Oh, I love that.
It was so incredible, and it was an 8-point game with a minute to play.
Oh, wow.
And both teams had outstanding athletes on both sides of gameplay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see Errol going to the box. I think the outcome of that official review will be a jammer penalty for Sacramento.
All right, so I love that we may have 2 reviews that say it's not being upheld.
Well, there's
Bear
Dan.
City's reviewing the lack of a cut call on the Sacramento jammer in the last jam. On review, the Sacramento jammer did cut one of the Bear City skaters. The cut has been issued, and Bear City retains their review for the period.
2-0.
2-0 for Bear City.
Great eyes by the Bear City coaching staff.
I think that coach should put on some glasses and then maybe put a marijuana cigarette in his mouth. Sorry, I had to do that. But anyway, so yeah, 2-0, not bad. Not too shabby for the Berlin coach.
No, and that's exactly what you want to do. Ice out that jammer so that number 25, Mia Missile, can just take that power jam and make it happen. Look at that can opener opening up the inside line.
That is tough work for Mia Missile, but Mia Missile is equal to the task. Lead jammer now Berlin as con artist escapes the penalty box.
Mia takes to the outside, engages the wall, and just forces them to go fast enough that they kind of break their own selves up. Which is, hey, if you can cause that level of confusion, heck yeah.
So a 5-point pass already on the board for Mia Missile as Aerial Twister is free from the penalty box and completes an initial pass lickety-split.
Doesn't even break stride.
Mia Missile going to try to get through up the front. Oh, nice put out by Rose Villain. I think that's going to be a forearm, though, because she did have her arms away from her body when she blocked.
Indeed. And hey, I just wanted to finish my thought on that from earlier. We have been seeing a lot of forearm penalties being called, but you know what, you guys? It's super possible that we've seen a lot of forearm penalties just being done.
Yeah.
Because some games, people just get into a weird groove where it's like, boom, oh, geez, I keep doing that. Why do I keep doing that?
Yeah.
And that's super possible. So, yeah, it's a forearm-heavy game, but maybe it's just a forearm-heavy game.
An example, Hannah Satana from Berlin, who has fouled out now. Only 2 of her 6 penalties were forearms. So.
Yeah, and everything else was kind of different stuff every time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that.
All consonants.
That
That's a few
looks
vowels in
legit.
there.
Yeah.
All right, well, back to the action now with foreclosure jamming from Sacramento, stuck between the lines and at the front of the pack, extending the engagement zone all the way and then becoming lead jammer. And that is...
What are you laughing at?
That's Jane Von Payne. I don't know how I can not... I'm laughing at not being able to see the scoreboard because it's kind of funny.
But, the good news is our people at home can see the scoreboard because the score is lit up at the bottom. So it's not as dire as if we're in the house and no one can tell what the score is.
They can see the scoreboard and they can tell that we can't see it. But we're smart. Trust us. We're not stupid. They didn't just put us here for no reason. All right, well, Jane Von Payne completing a scoring pass. 5 points go up for Berlin now.
Annie Anklebiter goes into the penalty box for a multiplayer block.
Your in-jam score, 157-129, Berlin in the lead.
And a rare star pass by Sacramento to Rose Villain, number 67 in blue.
And Jane Von Payne clears the pack and calls the jam off, having put up 4 more points for a total of 9 points on that. And that puts it at 161-129 for Sacramento. Sacramento staying close.
Yeah.
Amy, if they can hang in there and maybe take advantage of a momentum shift with some jammer penalties from Berlin, they could get right back into this game. So,
well, we've seen Sacramento kind of hanging behind a little bit the whole game. There have been a couple lead changes.
Right.
But that makes sense given their respective rankings and the way they've been moving forward in the world. That makes sense that Sacramento would be a little bit behind. But this is by no means a blowout. This is a tight game.
Yep. All right, so Pink Floyd with the star once again for Sacramento.
And Miss Sophie getting knocked down and coming back around.
I think that's a high block on Shock and Auburn, who will take her place in the penalty box, and that allows Miss Sophie to break through for lead jammer for Berlin once again.
That's one thing that I'm seeing a little bit of here. I tend to see more of it in lower level teams, which is when someone gets called out, everyone does a little freeze and say, "Me? Is that? What are we doing?"
Yeah,
And that gives opportunities to your opposition.
it does. That hesitation,
Yeah.
you know.
And so if you have that moment of my person's going out, what do I do? One thing that a couple teams I've worked with in the past have done is drill at home the idea of someone's getting called. We have a backup strategy to people leaving our wall.
Yeah.
Because if you have to say, oh, we were 3, now we're 2, I'll go over here, you're done.
Yeah, right. You can't strategize in motion.
No. You have to have that just in your blood, in your instincts already.
Well, there's 2 kilts on the track.
Well, it's a good game,
The
Beast.
Jam Timer has a kilt, and my camera has a kilt.
Well, so one skating, one non-skating.
Men in kilts and roller derby somehow still a thing in 2018.
Hey, you know what?
I sense you're pro
I'm-
kilt.
I'm honestly, I am pro any kind of alternative garment for any human.
There you go.
I'm not super big on gender normativity.
I'm not anti-quilt.
No, they're warm. But
They're warm. Aren't they open at the bottom?
you said quilt.
I said quilt. Did I say quilt? That would be like calling Detroit roller derby Denver roller derby.
Oh, don't you
Don't do that.
Wash your mouth out with
I'll be right
cyanide.
back. Hold on.
Oh,
Okay, I'm fine.
how very dare you. But no, I've gone through long stages of my life where I've cross-dressed. I've gone
Yeah.
through long stages of my life where I've been super mega girly. Right now, I'm in a kind of in-betweensy phase.
In betweezy?
In-betweezy. I talk good. But with kilts, what I
Hashtag
love,
in betweezy.
what I love about kilts is that it gives a socially acceptable alternative for men to pants and shorts that they don't otherwise have, because if a man puts on a dress, it creates
Yeah,
an
everybody just
unnecessary statement.
Freaks out.
Right, and it's just, when I say unnecessary, I don't mean about the man wearing the dress. I mean about the society surrounding the man.
That's right.
And so yeah, so I mean, getting off my platform now, but yeah, I love all kind of alternative garments. So heck yes, kilts. Let kilts rule the day.
There we go. All right. That whistle starts the jam once again. And taking the star for Sacramento, that's Swifty. And Swifty's going up against that Mia Missile at the front of the pack there, just chiseling past the final Sacramento blocker for lead jammer once again for Berlin as Shock and Auburn returns to play.
And I've seen from other jammers who use this Mia Missile style of kind of getting into L position and putting the head forward.
All
Oh,
right, so
dear.
we have had an injury on the track. I think as Mia Missile passed one of the few remaining Sacramento blockers, there was impact. That's Conquistadorable. No, I'm sorry, that's Con Artist.
Yeah, that's Con Artist.
She's
Yeah, they have
holding her
similar
left
numbers
arm.
and similar look. And
Look at Con Artist getting
Going
up on
off.
her own speed and skating off.
yeah, clearly having an issue with her arm, and
Yeah,
so already
left
we have
arm.
our EMTs going over to her.
There you
And
go.
so, you know what, while we're here, shout out to our EMTs.
Absolutely. Harmony Medical, EMTs for the Big O. So thankful and grateful for our EMTs and other medical staff in the venue. I'm sure we don't have to tell anybody that roller derby is a full contact sport.
Yeah,
And,
for even for people that don't intend to be contacted.
Yeah.
Every once in a while we get a bad hit on an official or a coach or someone just on accident. But you know what? Big accidents happen. And in the meanwhile, this big accident, we're looking at an official review called by Sacramento,
Yep.
almost certainly seeking some sort of egregious call on that hit. And we will see what that turns into. Head ref Mike Hammer will confer with his refs and get back to us on the house mic.
Shout out to at the Derby Apex. God, I'm trying to give somebody a shout out and I butcher their name. How can that be?
The Derby Apex is one of my favorite Derby Twitter resources.
Everybody knows the Apex. Everybody's
Yeah.
heard from the Apex. The Apex right there with the knowledge. Apex saying, close game, Bear City 143, Sacramento 111. Not your actual score. With 13 minutes left in the game, but chiming in there. And, of course, Halftime for Tucson versus Terminal is 107-64 for Tucson.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're listening to us but want to know what that score is, that's what it was at halftime.
Hey. Big O, filling all of your Derby informational needs.
Treble Hot Tramp 909 says, are at BCRD_Berlin on now? Question mark. Scores, please. At ECRG_ the Big O. Hashtag Big O 2018. Yes, they are on now, and we can give you the score. It's 168 for Berlin. I'm sorry, 166 for Berlin, 129 for Sacramento.
Last jam was a 5-point jam in favor of Bear City.
We are in a official review right now.
And this may take a little bit of time because these kind of calls tend to be a bit tricky, and they want to make sure that they make the best possible call, which means asking everyone who had eyes on that moment to speak up and say their piece.
Bianca San Miguel requesting that someone go live on Facebook for track 1. Okay.
You know, we have a lot of volunteers, and we have been live tweeting a lot of games, and the unfortunate part of that is there's never enough people to do absolutely everything that we need done.
So true.
And so, for instance, this live stream, we're doing the very, very best we can. We hope that all of you can see this stream, and if you can't, please contact us for our tech staff to be able to fix that.
And understand that we are working on it, and it is unfortunate that such a thing has happened. And I know that the Big O, whose DNA, like most of roller derby, is volunteer-driven, are doing everything they can to make sure that they're providing, the quality product that their fans have paid for and requested.
Yeah,
So,
and we recognize that you're fans and you're excited about seeing this, and so what you want to do is see this.
And now we have Mike Hammer with the outcome of the official review.
Sacramento's official review, reviewing a lack of a head block call on the Bear City Jammer in the previous jam. On review, there will not be a head block call issued. Sacramento does not retain their official review.
All right, so it wasn't about egregiousness. It was about style of hit. And, a heavy hit that's a legal hit is still legal if it's in that zone.
And I could see over there on the Sacramento bench, Con Artist with her wing wrapped up there in a sling and plenty of ice. But it looks like she will be okay and return to skate another day. We will get underway once again here with Ariella Twister jamming for Sacramento, and that's number 030, Jane Van Payne jamming for Berlin.
Sacramento pivot immediately going to the box. That is number 67, Rose Villain. And this may take Rose Villain out. That's either 6 or 7 penalties.
It's 6. It just went up 6.
Oh, it just went up 6. Okay.
So
one more available.
Green to orange.
Oh.
And meanwhile, Jane Von Payne with the star for Berlin now out of the pack. Lead jammer once again for Berlin. Ariella now having completed her initial pass, about a half a track behind the pack. Jane looking at Ariel, getting signals from the coach to call it, and she will.
I've noticed that there's such high ceilings and noise within all of the venues here at the Big O that sometimes, especially in the faraway turns, the jammers are having a little trouble hearing their bench coaches. And so I've seen a couple apoplectic bench coaches screaming from the sidelines, call it off!
Jumping up and down. If you've ever been to the Lane Event Center here in beautiful Eugene, Oregon, you know the layout for the Big O. There's track 1, then there's an atrium, and then tracks 2 and 3 are right next to each other. And that can often cause confusion on the part of skaters where whistles migrate from one track to the next.
Yes, last night we did have a game in which track 2 called off the jam, and track 3 had a bunch of skaters just stop.
Stop skating.
And so the jammer got through super good.
Speaking of the jammer getting through super good, that's number 180, Miss Sophie, jamming once again for Berlin with the...
And that is a forearm penalty, taking out a bear blocker. That's number 23, 60 Blitz.
So another blocker for Berlin is cycling to the box now. Pack advantage for Sacramento.
That's Peanut Butter Panic, who just got 7.
But it is a lead jammer for Miss Sophie, so whenever she wants, she can call this jam off. Forecloser with the star for Sacramento, stashing it now, putting it back on, and coming back into the pack. And Miss Sophie not calling it off.
No.
Huh.
And another thing I enjoy about watching Forecloser skate is that she has so many skills that she kind of casually skates in all kinds of different directions. Unfortunately, she also casually did a low block. And the crowd does not like whatever was just called.
And there's some boos echoing through the crowd.
That was Talls going to the box number 94.
Perhaps the concession stand is out of corn dogs.
Or perhaps the crowd thought that wasn't a high block, but that the officials thought Talls
But it could
did.
be either one, right?
Yeah, you know, corn dogs are important.
They are.
Oh, man, corn dogs.
They're on my training table since I was a boy.
And now everybody's decided that they're going to the penalty box. I think there's been a bit of getting inside one's own head, because sometimes that happens. Like, oh no, my teammates are all in the box. I got to work extra hard. Now I'm in the box too.
Yeah, and the net result of that is that there are only 2 defenders on the track for Sacramento, and that is not enough to contain Miss Sophie. But Forecloser through now, completing her initial pass, going to the box, getting back on the track, and picking up 4 points. And Miss Sophie having enough of it. She's going to call that one off, putting up 2 more points on that pass for a total of 17 on the jam. Berlin now jumps out to a 187 to 133 score. We're going into jam 22, Mamie. That means we must be close to the end of the game.
Oh, yes.
So,
well, and we saw Peanut Butter Panic leave on the foul out, therefore leaving the bombshell wall a little light.
Yep.
And I think that did assist in getting the 4 points on the board for Sacramento.
Yeah.
Now, warning to Sacramento, your skaters, Rose Villain, number 67, has 1 to go.
Yep.
1985 Con Artist has 2 to go.
Injured,
so it doesn't matter. And Devastator has 2 to go.
Yep.
That does matter.
Yep. All right, so we see an exchange happening. Lushy back on the track, Weepy in the box, and lead jammer going to Mia Missile now for Berlin. Track set up on the other side of the pivot line. Any ankle biter anchoring the Sacramento tripod. Mia Missile just blasting right through it. 5-point pass for Mia Missile as Pink Floyd clears the pack. Yeah, we'll just call that one off. We'll go to the next jam. Yes.
2.5 minutes left in this game.
You know, you always have to train your eyes before you come to the Big O to learn how to read stuff sideways.
Not you guys, though.
Not you.
If you're in the crowd, you can see everything real good here.
That's right.
I sincerely love the setup they have here. There's a lot of opportunities for rinkside seating, for bleacher seating. The vendor village is tremendous.
Yep.
The bar is actually really good. They have little bars in each of the areas where they can.
Yep.
It's a nice place to be.
All right, so Jane Von Payne with the star for Berlin going up against Ariela Twister for Sacramento. Ariela trapped at the jammer line. And Jane Von Payne, Jane Von Payne getting called out on a forearm.
And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah, and Ariela Twister able to pick up lead jammer.
A lot of Sacramento fans here. Oregon being fairly close to Sacramento. Eugene, Oregon being fairly close.
Yeah, only 9 hours away.
Yes.
No, that's Oakland. Oakland's 9 hours. That's tomorrow.
So it's about 7 hours away.
Yeah.
Still, you can do it in a day.
Nice. And Ariel Twister traveling by skates there, getting through the pack. A 5-point pass on the board for Sacramento. Sacramento needing offense now, needing to close this point gap.
So I just want to point out that the social media team is working feverishly all weekend to bring you live tweets and Facebook coverage throughout the event. And if you think there's not enough, you know what? Tweet at us.
Tweet it
and
out.
We really welcome your polite, engaged feedback.
Pink Floyd not deterred by anything.
No,
just a little
Pink
bit of
Floyd's
dancing on the
just
jammer
like,
line.
yes, this is a good song.
She's like, I love life and I'm a jammer. So folks, be sure and stay tuned after this game. We're going to have a post-game interview. And we will be sending it down to trackside with October Revolution for that post-game after this game.
This is one of the many services that Big O provides to you.
There you go. Pink Floyd, as we mentioned, jamming for Sacramento, trying to make it through the front of the pack. I heard a whistle blow, and that whistle
indeed
was for lead jammer, and Pink Floyd is your lead jammer, but
also Shock went into the box.
Jane Von Payne is ahead of Freud, so Freudy will call that one off. And that will be the end of that jam. Your score now 192 to 141. And that is your unofficial final, actually, as I turn to look at the scoreboard, maybe. So that signals the end of this game, and it it appears to be a 192-141 win for Berlin, but not surprising there. Berlin doing an incredible job on both sides of the game.
Well, and as we've seen, Berlin is on their way up, just as Sacramento is. And Sacramento has the advantage of both of their former teams' most excellent players coming into their All-Stars, or MaulStars, as they call them. But it also has the slight disadvantage that they haven't been playing together this whole time.
That's true. Now they have been playing, with their own teams, as you mentioned, at a very high level for WFTDA play, and that explains their abilities in the Clover Cup, going 3-0 and their rankings push. But it does take a little bit of time for that chemistry to happen.
Absolutely.
And certainly they've got it. It's just a matter of, and we saw their game yesterday. They didn't seem to struggle as much as they did today with penalty troubles yesterday, and they were able to pull out a win yesterday against Terminal City.
As you said earlier, Bear has been together since 2012.
Yes.
So they have had plenty of time to marinate and get together as a team and figure out what it means to be the Bear City team.
That's right. And, of course, European teams, once, happy to sort of be an also-ran in WFTDA gameplay and, international roller derby gameplay, they are staking their claims now. And we're seeing European teams just explode in the rankings and playing incredible games. I'm thinking of teams like London and Crime City, as we mentioned, and even lesser teams, not lesser teams, but certainly lower ranked teams in a European theater like Stockholm. They're very exciting and dynamic games from those teams. So. And teams are giving high fives, that wonderful tradition of roller derby where you get to celebrate with the teams that played and congratulate them for their efforts as we wait now for that post game. I'm looking around.
And there's Tober on the track coming right in. So thank you very much for tuning in with us. Tober will be taking over soon.
Yeah, we're supposed to be getting a 3-2-1 from their producer there. Where is Tober?
Right there.
Oh, there we go. Okay, great. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
There we go. So, also, I can hear the music, and I want to give a special shout-out to DJ Meow.
Doing some great stuff today. I'm loving all the music.
Amazing Portland DJ Meow. And here at the Big O, once again, he did not bring his wall of beatboxes with him this time, but and we see Danny going over with Forecloser and with Annie Rickick. Come on, Beast. Annie Rexick. All right, so I think we can successfully pass this over to them.
I think so.
I see Chris walking, trying to keep people out of the way of the camera.
All right, so I have been Mamie Theisenhower.
I've been Sexy Beast.
Take care of yourself.
Hello, welcome to track one of the Big O. I'm October Revolution. I'm here with Forecloser, and oh my gosh, what's your name? Annie Rexick. And we're going to talk a little bit to Sacramento. They just played Bear City, and unfortunately they lost 192-141. But I wanted to ask you, so you just unified two teams together, and you went 3-0 at Clover Cup. You're 1-1 this weekend. So how did you work to mesh together as one team?
Well, we took all of last season and we pretty much did monthly scrimmages and just kind of started integrating our team slowly but surely. It took about a year, and I think the end of January is when our charter finally came together, and so we've only been skating together really for about 4 or 5 months at the most. Yeah.
That's super exciting. So one more question for you is, did you find that by adding more brains together you were able to get more ways to train and different strategies, and did it help you bring in new ideas?
I think holistically, as that group meshed over the last 4 months, we've had to pull different strategies from each league as we merged into one. And so I think the end result is strong strategy, but it does take time to figure out what's going to work or combine strategy. So it's definitely been a process, and the skaters were having to get used to it, learning new names of strategy, changing maybe old habits. So it's actually been a great challenge, and I think because we're doing it together, that's why in 4 months we've been able to learn quite a bit of strategy together.
So one more question for you. What do you have to say to leagues who are having space problems, or they're in maybe the same area and they're thinking about doing something like this?
I say do it. I mean, you've got to set those egos aside, and it's really going to help your home league and grow. I mean, why share fans? Why share sponsorships? Or actually keep them separate? But you want to actually share all that stuff. You want to actually pull everything together so you can be bigger and stronger. And it's worked out wonderfully for us.
Thank you so much for talking with me. Have a great rest of the Big O and a great season. And stay right here on Track One for what we have coming up next.